bass.
Yeah.
So by the end of the 80s, you were still hitting it with We're Moving Up.
Mhm.
Not quite as big or as a success as All in the Name of Love, but still number 26 in the R&B chart. And Barbara Weathers went on her solo journey at that point.
Yeah. After the As the Brain Turns album, after the All in the Name of Love album, excuse me, Barbara went solo, uh, and we brought in Portia Martin, so that particular album. That album was a great album. The problem with that album was the people that was working that album didn't know how to market that record because we were under the control of the R&B department when that was not an R&B album. That album was a crossover album, and they didn't approach it that way. See, so that's another thing when you have the wrong people with your product, and it seemed like they were pigeonholing us. They were trying to force us into, forcing a square peg into a round hole. You know what I'm saying? That album should have blew up because that was a great. That was. I listen to the album today and I go back and say, wow, it was ahead of its time. People weren't ready for that record.
It certainly is full of a lot of really strong ballads.
Right. We had some great stuff on that record. We're moving up. You know what I'm saying? We had some great crossover stuff on there. My mistake. You know, um,
My Sugar.
my sugar was on there. That should have went number one. But like I said, at that time, the people that came in to uh, in promotion, they didn't know what to do with that record. I'm sorry, they just didn't. You know. Um,
Yeah, well, that's too bad. But did some of those tracks though become more successful in the live performance?
well, my sugar did because we did that, and then we did that. We did that on a lot of shows, and we did that on Pat Sajak's show
Huh.
because we did Pat Sajak. I think we did his show twice. Then we did Arsenio too. So we did. I know we did Arsenio twice or two different occasions. So yeah, my sugar and I believe my first love was on that record too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, my first love. That was another song that should have went.
Now
You
that one, I think that one went to number one R&B, but it didn't cross over for some reason.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It was no focus. The album didn't have, coming off As the Man Turns, then All in the Name of Love. They should have had it together to know exactly how to plug that in, and it was especially with being with Warner, but we had the wrong people working it. See,
Yeah.
first two albums, the first All in the Name of Love, Benny was there. Benny Medina was there, and Benny was really on top of getting our stuff, making sure that we were being taken care of properly. But see, once we did the We're Moving Up album, philosophically it was a different crew of people with a different type of mindset that didn't know what they was doing when it came to what we needed and how to promote that and how to market it and how to get it out there. And unfortunately, it's bad when your career is subjected to that type of, uh, you know, or you putting your career in the hands of people that really don't have a clue about what to do with your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there was definitely a lot of changes going on around that time at Warner Brothers into the early '90s, and of course Prince was there,
Mm,
and he ended up having a lot of troubles with Warner Brothers in a few years. Did
right.
you get to meet Prince or any of that side of Warner
We,
Brothers
we,
acts?
we never really got a chance to sit and talk with Prince, but we used to see Prince quite a bit, because he was, we were there waiting to go into R&B department. I mean, going to A&R. I'm sorry, A&R department. Sitting in the lobby in Burbank. We ran into Prince that way a couple of times. You so, but we never really had a chance to really sit down and talk with Prince. But like I said, we were on the same labels, and we used to see him all the time.
Yeah, they didn't get you guys in any show bills together, huh?
No, we didn't do any shows with Prince. That would have been interesting now. You know,
Yeah.
at that time. But we would, like I said, the tours that we were doing were more like with Luther and Patti LaBelle, and especially as we evolved. And then we did some stuff with Cameo, in back in those days. But we were doing the Bud Fest, so because the success that we were having with Always, you know, kept us out there with Luther and Patty. You know, that was a good combination. Us and Luther and Patty. That was a great, you know, that was just a great combination. That show was really a great show.
Yeah. Um, so, how much were you guys motivated or directed by trying to repeat the commercial success versus, letting your creativity flow and that kind of balance?
Well, we never we never really tried to write um, commercially, even though we know it's a commercial market. We tried to write the way we felt. Um, we how can I say it? We were kind of different, where people like would sit down and pick a market they want to write something to, or a particular market, and then they would approach it that way. We never did. We just wrote what we felt came natural for us, or you know, we were organic writers. Let's put it that way. You know, we just let the music happen. That's the way we approach stuff.
That's
You know,
great. So you didn't feel pressure to like achieve a certain.
no, because when we tried to do that, it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like you said, on some of the records, we hear certain nuances and stuff. I don't want to say totally conforming, but we were conforming to some degree. But we had a vibe of our own, and basically, we just needed to stay true to what that was, and that's what we tried to do. Was just try to stay true to what it is that we did. You know.
Just a couple years later with Love Crazy was very different from We're Moving Up, which was more ballads and Love Crazy was much more up tempo.
Right. It was. Yep. And that was the album that Masterpiece was on. That song went to number three pop. And basically, we would have went to number one had it not been that year for Eric Clapton and Vanessa Williams, Save the Best for Last.
Mm.
That was the song that beat us out in the number one spot that year. But again, if that really pushed it, it would have went to number one. When you get to number three, you're supposed to go to number one.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Masterpiece went to number three pop. that was an interesting story with that song too. I'll never forget we were in the office with Benny, Dina, and there was a Kenny Nolan song. He had sent the tape in and to us, and just him singing in the piano. And I heard it. I said to Benny, Benny, this song is a hit right here. Benny was like, huh. I was like, trust me, Benny, this song right here is a hit. So they let us go on. That was one thing about Benny, man. Benny, I love Benny when it came down to music and vision and being creative because he had an insight that was different from a lot of his peers. And Benny was young, but Benny understood. He had class, and he was an old soul, and he was a great visionary. And he understood how to market stuff. And if he believed in something, he fight for it. And even if he didn't clearly see the picture, but if he believed in you, he believed in you. And that's one thing I respect about Benny to this day. Benny was a great guy. Had we were always able to work with Benny, things would have really been different, you know.
Hmm.
Because, like I said, and don't get me wrong what I'm about to say, because I love R&B, but it's not all just about R&B. It's about the world. We were a world band. We were a world group. We wrote songs for the world, not just for one set of people.
Hmm.
We were who we are. You could see that we were black, and we did what we did, and we had that vibe. But God gave us the ability to write music for everybody, and that's basically where we were at, and that's what we needed. We needed people that understood that and would nurture that. You know what I'm saying? Or would open up some doors for us to be able to funnel our stuff into. You know, but it's never too late.
Well, because even though that track made it to 3 on pop and R&B, the
Hmm.
album only made it to 25 on the
I
R&B
know.
chart, and
Interesting, right?
it's a strong album, you know.
It was a very strong album.
Yeah, and a lot of variety, and I felt new influences coming in too. Like I felt
Right,
some, that soul to soul, loose ends kind
right,
of
right,
British
right.
soul vibe, and
Right.
some Janet
That was,
Jackson kind of dance style stuff, and
hmm
a lot of new. You
Well,
guys were still trying new stuff.
it was right in pocket with what was going on. You know what I'm saying? It was right in pocket, but I think it was a couple of things going on at that time. I just think the focus wasn't there. I don't know if at that time, at the management that we had, I don't know if that was, that played in because I don't know if that had got to a point where I think that was a problem after a while too. Sometimes you gotta start out fresh so you know, you can breathe a different way. You know.
I felt also too like you guys had an ear to what was going on with house music even,
Right.
you know, um, and you hit the spot. I wanted to mention that one in particular because that one was another nice up tempo track that really, to me, harkened back to some of the real classic Atlantic Starr sound.
Right. That was one of my favorite songs. Rachel Oliver sang, she sang on that album, and she did a great job on that song. Unconditional Love, you know, we cut that in Hawaii at Hilo up at the volcano. We did the video up there. We did Arsenio when we did Unconditional Love, you know. So yeah, that was a great song.
As great and strong as that was, you guys kind of went through another transition and you went to era stuff years later and kind of a one off deal there. Um,
Yeah, we went over to Arista, boys. That album was a great album, but we got over there with Clyde. I don't know. It was a lot of. I don't know what to say about that. That's just a big void in my head right now. That was just another piece of product that just somehow just floating into the abyss.
Everybody's
But
got Summer though as a nice groove track.
well, everybody's got Summer. We had Time on there. We worked with Diane Warren with Baby B there, which was a great song. There's another song on there, Loving You All Over Again. I mean, that album was packed, with some great music.
Yeah.
But again, we were at the mercy of record company.
And you had you did some Diane Warren stuff on that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Baby Be There. That was a
Yeah.
great song. You know, but Good to Come Home to. Those songs, two songs, great songs. You know.
You got funkier again too with Animal Attraction.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I did that song on a new keyboard that I got. It was a PV keyboard. Great sequencer. It was a little finicky when it came to programming on it, but it had a great vibe in terms of just the groove. And I I I programmed really I basically programmed the whole song on that. My brother Wayne came and worked with me on it and arranged it and did the lyrics, the melody. But that was like influence, like almost like a Billy Idol. That was almost like a Billy Idol influence for me because I like Billy Idol. I like that whole vibe that he had, the way he would approach everything. So when I was doing that, that's the kind of vibe that I was hearing, like if Billy Idol would do it.
Like a Dancing with Myself kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 just the way he would vibe on something like that. Put the rock guitar in there towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had it going on still, but yeah, whatever. Whether it was the label or just what was going on in the music industry overall. Um,
Yeah.
and your brother, that was the final record for him, right?
For David, yeah. Yep. He went into him and his wife. They went into doing their ministry together,
Mm.
and then Wayne and myself. Well, all three of us, we kind of laid out for about 2 or 3 years. We didn't do nothing. We just was after the Time album and that whole thing, and the industry had really burnt us out. We were like, we need a break. We were going through all kinds of craziness. Industry, personal stuff, just it was time to just go somewhere and be quiet and just work on your spirituality. So that's what we did. Time for the break. Because we had been in the whirlwind for so long that when you're traveling at 200 miles an hour nonstop, when you're trying to keep up with it all, after a while, it just wears you out.
Sure.
You realize that, a lot of people that you have around you that you think are for you, they really for themselves.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you the cash cow. But let some things start going on with you, then, people start falling off like flies.
Mm.
So,
Find out who your true friends are.
well, basically, I think in life there comes a time when you got to just purge, and I think purging is healthy. And, you got to be able to. The only way to regroup and to recharge is to purge. It's like what's going on right now with all this madness. I believe it's a spiritual purge taking place right now. And the identity of people, true hearts are really coming out right now. And it's needed because, you know, we just got to know where people stand.
Yeah, it takes stuff like that for real change to happen. It seems so.
Yeah. It's got
Yeah,
to get ugly before it gets beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to just mention a few tracks that I particularly liked on those two records you did in the late '90s.
Okay.
That I want to make sure people are aware of these too, because
Right.
they can be kind of hard to find, though. I got to tell you.
I see you.
But Because of You was one, and Legacy. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, there was a couple of tracks, I guess, in some versions that were on both. Or
Yeah, Legacy, we did Because of You was on we did a licensing deal with Japanese. Wayne wrote that Because of You. Um, but on the Legacy album, we had some other songs that we did really good overseas in England and France, Germany. Like You was one of those songs.
yeah, You's a very good one. Yeah,
Yeah, You was really was a real big song over in Europe. That was a song that I wrote with my brother Wayne. You know, um, and we had a couple of them. Matter of fact, those albums are still bubbling. It's this. You know, we're getting ready to do a hard push on some of this stuff because we're sort of like kind of regrouping some of our publishing and putting things in perspective with ASCAP and going after some of the stuff to make sure that some things were licensed properly and um, were registered and all that. Because what happens is when you're doing this stuff, you kind of overlook the real important stuff till you start digging and you start finding out like, oh shoot, there's money here, there's money there, it's stuff that's been lingering and lurking. But if you don't check it, you won't know for yourself because ain't nobody gonna tell you, hey, you got some money over here. You got to search for it.
hmm
So that's what we're doing now is just getting everything and putting all the apples in one basket and finding out we got a lot of content out there that's been generating you know quite a few dollars. Just put it that way. That
yeah, especially in this digital era, you got to
uh,
definitely.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the Mirror was another track that.
Oh yeah, that was one of Wayne's. That was Wayne's brainchild. But I love that song. I still think we need to do a video for that song right now because it's so pertinent for what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Just the overall theme is like we really need to do a video for the mirror. You know?
I'm on board with that,
Yeah, I love that song though.
and also like When Was the Last Time?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite ones. I wrote that with Jeff Poussin and myself and Kevin Dean. We wrote that together. Yeah.
So you guys took a real long hiatus until you came out with Metamorphosis.
Mhm.
What inspired you to finally come back and release another record, and where things? I know you're touring now, but get us up to speed on how you finally came out again with another record.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Metamorphosis. We worked on that record for literally 3 or 4 years on and off. You and we got some action in the beginning, but when you're doing it yourself, you still got to have a bag of money to really get it out there and position it the way you want. Even though you have social media and all that other stuff, but still, it's a grind, and you got to really have somebody that's designated to grind and to be on top of your social media and everything all the time. So the record is still out. It's still doing things, but it's all about being able to infuse the right capital in it to give it that push, you know. So we're in the process of getting ready to do some stuff. We wanted to do some remixes, and we didn't print up a lot, so we were gonna sell out what we had and basically do another run and re-release it, you know. So that's basically what we're in the process of doing it because that album is still virgin. Not too many people have heard it, you know.
I don't think you guys lost a step with that one. You know,
No, we didn't.
congratulations on it.
Thank you. Yeah, that album is that's a great album. I mean, we got some nuances in that album that's like really kicking butt, you know. And
There's
that's why I said, everything has its time and its day, and that's the way it's been with us. You know what I'm saying?
just yeah. I mean, just so people know if they haven't heard it, you got some electronic dance music influence in there. You got a Latin
Yeah,
thing going on.
yeah, that Latin vibe. I remember when I did that. I was like, that's what I was in. I was in a Latin frame of mind. You know what I'm saying? And then Wayne came in and put all that sweetening and overdub horns and all that other stuff and arranged it. And we went all the way back to 1968 with Cal Jada and Fine All Stars and Eddie Palmieri. We was thinking about everything when we were doing that, you know.
Yeah, you got Soulful Strut. Is that?
That was the Soulful Strut thing was for Everybody Got Summer.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. I wanted to mention
Yeah,
that that was cool that was in
yeah,
that.
we worked on that. We worked on a record with Basal Benford. He basically came with that sample. That was on the Time album.
Yes,
Man. Yep, Soulful Strut. I remember that song. I grew up to Soulful Strut. You know,
that's a classic, no doubt. Never get tired of that one.
no, 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 no diggity. The real song, the party song. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was.
immediately puts you in a certain nice space.
Hmm.
Yeah, we need more of
Yep,
that right now.
true. That's what it was back in the day. The music was happy. The way the sound and the tones and everything was upbeat. You didn't think about wanting to be violent and hurt nobody. You could put a song on, people could be mad. You put that certain song on, it would just be change the whole atmosphere. That's what we got to get back to. That's why I know our music is still virgin to the world, even though it's been out. But we got some stuff like this new album, like you said, Metamorphosis. When we really get that thing locked in right, I always had a feeling about that album. I know the album is gonna have its day. You know.
I really like uh, "Where Your Love Is Amazing" is happening. "Thank You, Baby," real nice soul ballad,
Hmm.
and "I Want You." I like the way you have that heavy downbeat kind of on that one.
Don't you? Yeah, yeah. What are you doing for the rest? Yeah, that's like that Stevie Wonder vibe. You know what I'm saying? This the
Yeah,
melody. You know what I'm saying?
good
Hmm.
stuff. Very good stuff. So, you guys are how much are you guys playing when you are able to play this new stuff versus the classic old stuff?
We've been playing the new stuff on and off for like over a year now. Matter of fact, we had a lot of shows booked for this year that we had to kind of cancel because of the COVID thing. But what we do is we try to sneak in a new one here and there. To get the people. So for us, it's always been being out there to play. Once we can play it and people will hear it, then they'll want it because that's the way it's always been with us. You know. So, when we're in a position to get back out there and start playing again, we'll be good to go. Because we were real busy. Wow. We had did the Soul Train cruise with the Jacksons in January. You know,
Mm.
that was cool. We had a good time on that show. So yeah, we were supposed to do. We had we did something in March. No, we didn't do something in March. We were getting ready to play in April. We had Disney. We had a weekend coming up for Disney that we had to cancel. Then we had Atlanta was supposed to be in May. June we had some other dates, and then possibly Indiana date that was supposed to happen in May. Uh, and then we were coming back to Alexandria to play at Birchmere, which I think that might still happen in July. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we
Finger,
already booked for it, you know.
fingers crossed.
Yeah,
On not just that one, but just all the shows coming back.
yeah.
Um, what can people expect to see at an Atlantic Starr show nowadays?
Well, I think people are shocked when they come to see us because, first of all, I think we're very, very seasoned now. So when they come to see us, first of all, a lot of people don't believe that me and my brother is still, or the group sounds like it does, or, because I got some people think we're supposed to be old and beat up with a cane, and, but we're consistent in delivering the music, so when people come and they hear it, it's like, you guys, it's like, I'm sitting here listening to stuff like it was yesterday. You're talking about some songs that's over 30 years old, you know. Um, so, the delivery, the people love it, and like especially when we go over to England and France. We did a show in France and down in Lyon, and man, it was like I had never been to Lyon to play. We had been to France, but never Lyon, and people were blown away. So it's great. Like I said, it's a blessing. You know, the whole thing is again is being able to get out there to do what it is that we do. Um, I'm slowly but surely getting back in writing mode. Um, I was also in education, getting ready to retire from that, and at the end of June.
Well, I hope congratulations are in order.
Yeah, so I'll be able to spend more time with music and video because we do music and do video and all this stuff. Me and my nephew, brothers, we've invested in quite a bit of equipment. So we have best 4K cameras and lights and everything. We have enough stuff to shoot features now. So, for the next phase,
Yeah.
developing a lot of the younger nephews and stuff that's coming up that's doing music. Matter of fact, we have one of my nephews we take out on the road with us now. That's a programmer and keyboard player, and he sings on some of the backgrounds. So
Great. Get that next generation. Teach them right.
that's it. We ain't gonna be around forever, so you want to pass the baton. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
keep the keep the music going because the music is timeless.
Absolutely. Yeah. I I had two more quick questions I want to ask you before I let you go. I really appreciate the generosity of your time, Jonathan.
Not a problem.
Um, what is there a particular piece of work or track, or you could even name two if you need to, but that you're most proud of in the whole catalog?
It's a couple of them. And when I think of time. I think of Secret Lovers. I think of Always. I think of Don't Take Me for Granted. I think of Under Your Spell because we originally did that song for Ronnie Isley. My brothers, they did that. We were trying to get that, and Ronnie loved the song. It's just politics kept him from doing
Hmm.
it, you know. But that song was right down Ronnie Isley's alley, you know.
Was that when you were both on Warner's?
Yeah. Under Your Spell. Yep. I don't know if you heard this song or remember it, but that was a great song. I mean, very very, it's an emotional song, you know. Yeah. It's been so many, I mean, So Good to Come Home To, Loving You All Over Again, On the Other Side. That was another thing. I remember we did a show in down in Reading, Pennsylvania, and we drove from Reading back to New York, and all we did was play Atlantic Starr tracks all the way back from Reading to New York, and still had more songs to go. So that just goes to show how deep our catalog is.
Absolutely. Wow.
So it's like a gold mine, you know.
What what would be your favorite album by another artist?
Stevie Wonder Talking Book, Sly Stone, Dance to the Music. Um, all the Sly Stones albums. Um, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? Jimi Hendrix, Band of Gypsies. Steve Winwood, John Barleycorn Must Die.
What, was there anyone that you met through all these years where you were just really like starstruck? You were just like, wow.
Well, it's funny. Stevie was a good friend of ours. 'Cause Stevie, when we had a place in LA, he used to come by the place in LA. Friend of mine used to bring him over. We were tight with, and they were together at that time. So Stevie would come by the apartment, and then when he came to New York, he came by my mother's house one time. So it was always good hanging out with him. I mean, he came in the room one night, came over, and he started playing my piano, and I was watching his fingering and saying, "Man, how is he getting them sounds like?" I mean, like he was just Steve, magical to me. Um, Let me see who else. Little Richard. He was another one. When I first met Little Richard, he looked like a superhero to me because he was so tall, and he always wore those boots. Those, and the way his look. He was just like I said, he looked like a super. He was a superstar. He was a deep dude, but he was a real spiritual person. He was. But Little Richard was a beautiful person. Beautiful. Oh, Grace Jones. I'll never forget. We hung out at the Soul Train one night. She was there, and I was a little. That's when the days when I used to drink wine and champagne. I haven't done that in over 30 years. And I was a little tipsy, and I saw Grace. I said, Grace Jones. And I started talking some crazy stuff. Nothing vulgar or nothing, disrespectful. Just being shocked to see her just sitting in this chair the way she was, and that strong, intense look that she had. And all of a sudden, this chick broke out laughing at me like, ah. And it was funny. And after that, we just started talking, and she was just so cool. So cool. And Natalie Cole was a beautiful person too. I mentioned earlier when we were at Sound Castle one day. I walked over. She was in a session. She had taken a break, and I went in and sat down with her, and we started talking. And it was just a beautiful conversation. She was a beautiful person. And then back in the A&M days, everybody used to come through there. Share. I used to sit and talk to Karen Carpenter, and you know, I remember when I first met Jaco Pastoria was over there.
Mm-hmm.
Tubes, Peter Frampton. You know, that was a great place to fellowship because Minnie Riperton. I remember talking to Minnie, and those are the days. Now I'm reminiscing, but those days were some great days.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing those memories. Appreciate it.
Well,
Um,
thank you for having me. And glad we could finally do this.
Thanks for bringing so much love into the world. We need it.
Well, that's what we've always been about. Love. God is love. We try to represent the true essence of who the Creator is. So I mean, like I said, we're very blessed and highly favored, as they say in the gospel and Pentecostal churches. Um, we've been really blessed, and God has been really good to us, and the fact that we're still here and in our right minds, and we're able to still do what we do and do it well. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
So, and we just thank the fans for hanging out with us for all these years, and still loving us the way they do.
Hey, back at Truth and Rhythm headquarters. Thank you for joining us on another magical ride with Truth and Rhythm. Whether you're watching or listening, as always, thank you so much for your continued interest and support. Be sure to subscribe. Go to YouTube, go to the Funk and Stuff channel. That's where Truth and Rhythm lives and breathes and thrives. Also, goodies here like TIR Quick Takes. And if you subscribe, you know what? You get the show before anyone else. It's free. If you love jazz, funk, R&B, soul, you can't miss it. Pass it along. Tell a friend. Tell family. This audience is growing, and it is a beautiful thing, all coming together for the love of this great music. Also, if you can throw us a buck or two, we could use the support financially, keeping the lights on, keeping the servers going, all these expenses. If you can help support the program, whatever you can give, much appreciated. Go to the funkandstuff.net website. And on the right hand side of every page, you just click and you can donate through PayPal, credit card, whatever. Very easy to do and so much appreciated. And if you do a sizable donation, I will mention you on the program. Also, drop me a line. Email me at scottg@funkandstuff.net. Let me know who else you'd like to see on the show, what you enjoy about the music. Let's just kibitz and talk about stuff, talk music. You'll find that I respond very quickly, and I much enjoy the rapport and the camaraderie and the interaction. Always remember, this is your show, The True Music Lover. So for now, that's all the time we have for this one. It's a wrap. As always, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.